Okay, here's your homework help for tonight. It was on tape diagrams and double number lines. Okay, this is what it looks like. I'm going to go coming back and forth to this slide a lot so I can show my work nice and big. The first thing I'm going to do is the first part. I'm going to find the answer. So I know part over whole equals percent over 100. So when I set this up, I know 100 goes on the bottom. I know it's 40%, so that goes on top there. I know the original cost is $50, so I want to find out how much money is the part. So when I work it out, I realize that after I work it out and solve for this, I get $20 is the part. But this is asking me two questions. How much did she save? Well, first she saved $20. How much did she pay for the shoes? Well, if the shoes cost $50, you subtract 20, she would then pay $30. So Lori paid $30 for the shoes. Now I'm going to do my tape diagram. I know that $50 is the whole, which is down here at the 100%. And as I start filling this in, I like to do the 50% just so I know where I'm at. So I know the 50% is about $25. I know my answer is going to be less than that because I'm doing 40%. So I know that 5 is 10%, and I can just start filling it in. So I know every box is going to be $5. 20% is 10, 30% is 15, and 40% is 20. So again, showing this, I filled it in. I can fill in the rest of them if I like. 30, 35, 40, 45, and then 50. So that's my tape diagram. Again, as I do the double number line, I want to make sure I fill in what the lines are. So I'm going to put part is the top line there. And I can put percent on the bottom line. Now the percent's already filled in from 1 to 100. So I'm going to find the parts. Well, I know $50 is the 100 right there. I know 50 is half of 100, so that's going to be $25. I know that $5 is the 10%. And at this point, I can just start filling the rest in. 20% is going to be $10. 30% is going to be $15. 40% is going to be $20. I can fill in the rest of my double number line right over there just by looking at what I did. So now I got my numbers. So I got 20, 25, 60 is going to be 30, 35, 40, 45, and then 50 would be my answer. So to answer that one, since I found that 20 is 40% of $50, and that's what she saved, because discounts what she saved, I subtract it. So $50 minus $20 is $30. So Lori paid $30 for the shoes. So I proved it 3 different ways. Okay, this one, when you look at it, it might be a little bit confusing, but this information was already given to you, and you're just filling in the missing blanks. So your friend Bob was absent from school the day that teacher taught how to use double number lines to solve percent problems. Now he's really confused. Help Bob understand how to solve the problem. So if you notice, it says there are 75 teachers and 15 of them teach math. This time we want to find the percent. Well, 75 is my whole, so that's out of my 100 there. So there's the teachers up there, and it's 75. 0 teachers is 0%, and from this chart here it says 15 teachers are 20%. So if I just wanted to fill in the chart, from 20 to 40 is double, so I know I can multiply by 2. That's 30. I also know that 20 plus 40 is 60, so 15 plus 30 is 45. And I know that 60 plus 40 is 100, 30 plus 45 is 75. So there's my filling in the chart there. Now let's answer the questions. So the first question says, in the first step of the problem, you wrote 75 above 100%. Explain to Bob. Why did we do that? Well, because 75 is the total number, the whole. So this is the total number. So 75 is the whole, or total number of teachers at Barber. So when I'm looking at that, I know that 75 is all the teachers. So 75 teachers, that's why I put it over 100. So on my double number line, I have 15 above the 20%. So if I want to figure out what that means, how do I find it out? Well, first of all, if I go back to original problem and look at it, 75 is 100% of it. So I know that 10%, well, is going to be 7.5. And I know that 20% will be 15. So 15 is above the 20% because that's the number of teachers you're going by. So when I filled in the chart there, I'm basically counting by 15s. So I want to find out how many 15s there are in 75. That's why I have the boxes there. So I'm going to do it that way. So I put 15 above the 20% on my number line. That's my 20%. So I know that 10% is right there, which is the 7.5. I know that I did 30%, or excuse me, 40%. I did 60% and then 100%. What was missing there was no 80%. So if you're trying to skip count and figure out why it's not working, that's why. So I know that I have 20% is 15, 30 is 40%, 60% is 45, 60 is the 80, and then 75 over the 100. So what is the answer? How do I know it's the answer? Well, there's different ways to figure out how I know it's the answer, but what I always like to do is do my work, the math work, the part over the whole. So if I put my part over the whole and set it equal to percent over the 100, looking at the problem, I know that it's 75 over 100. And I know I want to find the part, which is what part of the percent there. So I know I'm going to put 20. As I get that, I know I'm solving for my x, and I know that x is going to equal my 15. So the answer to the problem is 15 teachers, or 20%.